All right. Good evening, everyone. Kevin Crouch here with South Metro Weather. And let me just tell you that this has been a very chaotic evening. We went from weakening storms to hysteria surrounding this outflow winds that we have seen across the area to now we do have a severe thunderstorm warning. So across all of this, I know that a lot of people have been looking for severe weather coverage tonight. Number one, the storms were weakening as they moved in. Two, I was trying to keep up with just the periodic posts and the things that were changing that would correlate with a downgrading risk to now we have this storm which has maintained its severity and its intensity in a situation where most of these storms would cycle up and then very quickly weaken. So we're kind of in a situation where this is really the first storm that on its own merits has warranted this kind of coverage. But I realized that we had outflow winds earlier tonight that caused a lot of fear and confusion because it was a very sudden thing and we were talking 40, 45 mile per hour winds. And I understand that those coming upon you suddenly can be very disorienting. And, I was in communication with the National Weather Service on that too. I got a number of messages and text messages and different things that were coming in, emails, different things coming in all at once. And I was trying to decipher all of that, publish the information, get that out there. And getting ready for live coverage in the studio takes a minute. So it was hard to pull myself away from that to then start live coverage over here. So then I kept sitting at the desk working there, on and on and on. I could rant and complain and moan and groan all night, but here's the situation that we have right now. Ellis County has been removed from this severe thunderstorm warning. We now have the warning only including parts of Navarro County over into Henderson County. This is the storm that has prompted that. So if we zoom in, there's a couple of areas that we're looking at in terms of not only strong winds, but possible hail as well. So if we take a look at this, South Valley Farms, north of Roan, keep in mind this is northeast of Corsicana here, are the strongest winds out of this storm. Now that's likely going to correlate, yes, with the hail core here, just again, north of Roan, southeast of Valley Farms, northeast of Corsicana. So this is probably where you're going to see the largest hail out of this storm. This severe thunderstorm warning continues until, I believe, 10:15 p.m., I believe. Let's see. Why am I not seeing that here? 60 mile per hour winds. Yeah, until 10:15 right there at the top. So, and also keep in mind, the severe thunderstorm watch has been canceled. All counties in the South Metro area have been removed from that severe thunderstorm watch. So again, we were in a situation where this was slowly but surely downgrading. We weren't looking at any persistent severe weather situation, but this storm is, again, the first one that has really warranted this coverage. I realize now I should have gone live an hour or two ago. When the outflow winds began, those kind of snuck up on me. So when that started, I should have gone live at that time. There would have been a lot of people tuning in, I know, because the winds were causing a lot of confusion and questions. I did not. I tried to stay at the desk and update from there. Wrong decision, lesson learned, we'll move forward from that. But the lightning is also prolific tonight. I see a lot of comments regarding that. Just as was discussed last night, there were a lot of people saying, why is there not a storm on radar above me if I'm hearing thunder and seeing lightning? You're going to get lightning and thunder from distant storms. Lightning can strike 30 miles outside of a storm. That's just a fact. And so it is a fact that we could see a situation where you're getting lightning with no storm on top of you. I've even gotten messages tonight, we're getting all these winds. Why is there no storm on the radar above me? Just assuming that the radar is incorrect when actually what happened was a storm essentially collapsed. And what happens is you get all of that energy hits the ground and spreads out, almost like you're pouring water out of a bucket. That's how I explain it to the kids at these schools. The wind goes down, blows out, and we're talking, this is a storm capable of 60 plus mile per hour winds. So when you think about that, that gets pushed down and out all at once. that's when you're going to get those outflow winds. One of the wind gusts that was reported at Midway Airport was 44 miles per hour. So that's what we're talking about. Mostly in the Midlothian, from Midlothian over to Venus, over to Oak Leaf is really where most of those reports were coming in. So, just keep in mind that the outflow was not associated with a tornado. It was not. It was not affiliated with a storm itself. It was extending from a storm, was the situation there. And I understand that there were some mixed reports about different kinds of damage coming in as well. I tried my best to relay that to the National Weather Service and kind of correct that and update that as we went. So that information is to them. But right now, we just have this one last storm. Now let's look at a broader view here. And a lot of this is a lot of ground clutter. And as you can imagine, with those outflow winds, a lot of ground clutter has been kicked up. So this is the situation that we're watching right now. This is really the last storm that we have in our area. We may see some other showers overnight, but really what we're looking for at the moment is just this storm. So this is going to continue to move off to the east. It's already in far northeastern Navarro County here, north of Corsicana. It will continue to move on to the east, and it looks like it's already weakening. One of the comments that was made by the National Weather Service earlier is that these storms really look and feel more like a summer pattern. And again, one of the things that happens with those summer storms is they very quickly cycle up and then they weaken. One of the things that kept me from going live on any one particular storm is the fact that they would cycle up and then very quickly weaken. So I didn't, by the time I would have actually gotten live coverage started, it would have weakened. So it was a very tough decision to try and manage from the desk and not actually start live coverage here. But in the future, if this kind of situation happens again, you better believe that I will be starting a live stream, because I think it's going to be easier to do it up here than to take the moment, take the few moments of preparation, and then just cover it live and go about it that way, even if there's no severe weather to prompt this. And since we promoted such a severe weather event, that's why I was trying to play it cautious here a little bit and only talk about a severe storm if it actually came up, and not go live to tell you that it's not severe, right? Weather people from different parts of the industry deal with that, where we talk about a severe weather event all day, and then if we actually break in live, and I don't have to break in necessarily, but you go live and there's no severe weather to be talked about, you're kind of going, well, what in the heck are you doing? So there's a lot of dynamics at play. So David, you're about out of that in Rice, but keep in mind, you're still seeing these lightning indicators behind the storm, so just give this storm some space. Allow it some time and some space to get out of the way before that actually, let me say it this way, before you assume that you're completely out of any threat, right? That's where you want to handle that. Okay, let me go back in some comments here. Okay, I'm sure there's some power outages tonight. So hail in the Rice area was accurate with this. Again, that is why this severe thunderstorm warning was issued. That and the wind threat that we are dealing with as well. And I'm going back through comments here just to see what your reports say. A lot of comments about the lightning out there. Yeah, Robert. Okay, so you see a trampoline in the street there. That's not unbelievable. And we try to tell people, of course, tether these things down. But when you're looking at 40, 45 mile per hour winds, especially they come up suddenly in an open area like the Midlothian area or Venus out there, where it's there's more hills, you're more susceptible to that. So yeah, we could definitely see some trampolines flying around out there and that sort of thing. It was a very sudden deal. when those winds came up and all that was happening. There were several other updates that needed to be done while the winds were kicking up too. I set myself up for failure here, without a doubt. The storm appears to be weakening now, and we'll take a look at the vertical liquid here just to get a kind of an idea of what we're looking at. So that still shows a bit of a hail core here, and this may actually be an old scan. Yeah, this is about 13 minutes old. There we go. Here's a more recent scan. So yeah, you can see the hail core just about to cross into Henderson County that is weakening now. So that is weakening. We are losing the intensity in some of that. So it won't surprise me if, again, like I said, these summertime type storms, they swell up, and then right about the time they hit that peak, they already start to weaken. So we're already seeing that here. We're seeing that weaken now, and so really from Rice down to Corsicana, really along I-45, you're clear from the severe weather threat here. Really most of Navarro County is. This warning goes all the way down to the Currens area here. If you're not really in far northeastern Navarro County, far western Henderson County at this point, this is where the severe weather threat is confined at this point. So most of Navarro County at this point is already clear from the severe weather threat. And we've only been on the air for, a few minutes here. So that's kind of been the story. It's been hard to decide, live or not, because you have so many of these storms that they blossom up and then they die out. They blossom up and then they die. It's just, it's hard to catch them long enough to really cover them on air, because by the time I step up and say, hey everybody, Kevin Crouch here with South Metro Weather, it's already dying out. And I'm going, okay, well, what am I here to say? So a lot goes into that decision, and it's one of those other things too that, hey, when it comes down to it, on a night like this, it'd be easy to be live for 2 or 3 hours. And, when I try to, if I can avoid that kind of time spent on myself, I'm going to try to do that. National Weather Service advising that the storm approaching the Gun Barrel City area has weakened, but could still have some strong winds. So, I'm told that they will allow that warning to expire in the next 10 minutes, so that'll be on time for that. So this warning, it doesn't sound like they're going to shave any of this off, but they will allow the warning to go ahead and expire in about 9 minutes time when we reach that 10:15 point. So this storm moving out of Corsicana, moving out of the Corsicana area, moving out of Navarro County here, and we will continue to keep you updated on this and throughout the evening if things change. But it does look like we are getting things out of our area finally tonight. So a few things to bear in mind. The winds that you experienced tonight, if you were not under a storm, were outflow winds from a storm that collapsed. The winds pushed out all that energy, pushed out as cold air. Those 40 to 45 mile an hour winds that blew through were quick, they were sudden, they were scary, but fortunately they were not the kind of winds that we see sustained from one of these storms. It was those the outflow from that storm. We also have the severe thunderstorm watch, which has been canceled for our entire area, and there is one severe thunderstorm warning that is in place. That will be allowed to expire in about 8 minutes time, on time for it at 10:15. And we're looking at these storms moving out, and I do believe we'll have some gusty, I can't really tell right now, but I think we will have some gusty winds around the area. I'm seeing gusty winds in the Palmer-Garrett area, so there may still be some gustier winds in eastern Ellis County right now, but given another hour or two, I think we will see most of this start to quiet down across our area. And we could be doing all of this over again tomorrow night. It seems like we've had night after night of storms in this area, and so I have, that's another part of my calculus, is I hate to go live every single night and eventually desensitize people to it, but we've got storm chances really for the next 7-8 days. So stay tuned to South Metro Weather for more updates, not only tonight, although I think tonight we're done, Stay tuned for more updates tonight and throughout the rest of the weekend into next week as we continue to see more storm chances across north central Texas.